Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Filmbusters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Or shoot over and get some groovy merchandise at society6.com/filmbusters.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
Hello, wonderful people. We are back for the final instalment of Re-Animator. This is Beyond Re-Animator from 2003. Are we excited? Are we emotional that we finally got to this last?
We've made it to the end now. I don't know what to do with my life now this is over.
I know.
There's so much that's going to be missing in this world of reanimated animals.
I'm sure you'll cope.
Oh, I'll find something to do.
I've got to say though, I've really enjoyed this little stint.
I'm glad we did it.
Same. It's been a nice little change of pace.
It has. Maybe we should do this sort of thing every year. Once a year, we do a little run.
Yeah, pick a little franchise that we haven't tackled before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't always have to be horror either.
Yeah, exactly. High School Musical, but Adam's already seen them all.
Well, we should do one maybe you haven't seen in a while, so you almost come in fresh if you haven't seen it in so long.
But you watch High School Musical all the time, mate. It's not going to work.
I did. It's what happens when you grow up in a younger sister with the Disney generation.
Very sad for you.
Just out of interest, because every time we start recording, I keep thinking about this. The scene in American Beauty where Kevin Spacey brings up Re-Animator. I can't remember what actually happens in that scene, so I'm just trying to find it now to find out what the reference is to Re-Animator in American Beauty. Here it is. I found it. Check it out.
Did you ever see that movie where the body is walking around carrying its own head and then the head goes down on that bay?
Re-Animator.
And then the next day he comes around to get weed from him, and he says, "Oh, you want to borrow that film we were talking about, Re-Animator, yeah?" So that was all I knew about Re-Animator before we went on this little journey, and now I know more than I ever hoped I would. Yeah.
The head that goes down on the woman. There you go.
That is the whole film. I should have done that as the plot description.
It all leads to that, really, doesn't it?
I got to say, Jenny said the other day, like, having not watched a bunch of these films that we've covered recently, like Eraserhead, yes, but like Tetsuo, Persona, this, the other surreal film that we watched that I've forgotten about, she was like, you guys have been talking about some really extreme movies recently. It's like we're morphing into the Filmbusters extreme years.
It's very true.
We've got a nice film coming up next, haven't we?
We have. We got quite a big film. We're covering a big film next that most people will have seen.
Some would say it's not really a light-hearted film, though.
No, it's yeah.
But it's easy. It's much more accessible. I mean, it's an Oscar winner, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, I think everyone's seen it, maybe.
It's an Oscar winner, so it's widely acceptable.
It's been picked by one of our patrons as well. It's always exciting.
Should we just say what the fuck we're talking about?
Yeah, I think we should. I think this is a good time to drop it in.
Let's drop it now, just so people know what they can expect after this Re-Animator run.
Well, next we have been recommended by Katie and Oti from the For Your Reference podcast to review Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
It's a big hitter.
It is. I haven't seen it in a long time. I want to say probably the best part of 5 years, maybe.
I'd say longer for me. But I actually just watched it because I was getting ready for our next record, which is imminent.
Ooh, okay. I haven't watched it again yet.
And it also lends itself to our next kind of topic about how over time do our opinions change on films, and that is actually the Patreon topic that we're doing after this, suggested by Katie Note from the For Your Reference podcast as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So the topic is on second watches, we change how we feel about the film.
Yes.
From
indeed.
love to hate or hate to love. the yin and the yang of the many films we consume
And we will
in
tell
our
you
life.
what they are. But if you want to become a patron, just like Katie noted from the For Your Reference podcast, you can go to www.patreon.com/filmbusters, and you could be friends with the likes of Katie noted from the For Your Reference podcast.
Yes, you can have Nerves Revert.
You can have Julio.
You can have them, can you?
You can
Yeah,
have
you
them.
can.
You
You can have a
can have
slice of
them
them.
all. My empire of
Like
dirts.
Pokemon, you can collect them.
Now we've got a Discord chat where you can talk to all of them. You can talk. I just spilled my tea on me. You can you can talk to them whenever you want.
You can indeed. And we also have Jamie Russell, the wonderful Jamie Russell, who actually just recommended a podcast episode for us like a few episodes ago, which was Straight Story. So that could be you. You could be someone recommending us episodes as well.
Yes.
Correct. And we also have Julio recommending a film very soon, probably in July, I think it is, right?
Yeah, yes.
Is it not
No,
sooner
it's
than
actually
that?
June. It's June.
Oh,
It's
is it
next
June?
month. Yeah.
Okay. Keep your ears peeled for the Julio pick.
He will also be joining us as well, won't he?
He
Fingers
will be joining
crossed.
us.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. How could we forget? We will be joined by Julio flying solo. Only once have we all worked together, and that was Holy Motors. And holy shit, that was one hell of an episode to collab on.
That was a fantastic episode.
I think of it many a day.
Shall we move on to the staple of every episode, which is the quiz?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Just so everyone knows, we do this every episode. I ask Anna and Ben 2 questions. If they get the questions right, they get a point. If they get them wrong, I get the point. The subject of this quiz will be Beyond Re-Animator. The scores are Ben 11, Adam 18, and me 9.
Wow.
Wow.
Indeed. We're not catching Adam. I'm not catching... Oh, I could catch you actually, Ben.
You could, today, you could tie.
Depending on how hard my questions are this week.
Well, I tell you, last week Adam slipped. He scored no points, right?
I got
Yeah.
all the points.
Although Adam, this is the year of Adam. If Adam doesn't win it this year, he's never going to win it because there's
I
strong
agree.
momentum on his side. And actually, we can now talk about this. This is the first episode since we recorded the IMDb movie journey guys quiz,
We didn't
where
do very well.
they truly handed our asses to us as I predicted they would.
Did they win all
Yes.
5 rounds in the end?
Yep,
They did, yes.
every single round.
I mean, if we're going to go in, we might as well get destroyed.
yeah, exactly. And also, it lowers their guard
Yes.
for when we return.
This was all about like a trick to make them go easy on us next time.
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. It's the Rocky effect, right?
Oh,
it's
yes.
the Rocky effect.
Indeed. Rocky Part 2. We're
Yes.
coming back for you.
All right, and here is a sparring session in between Rocky films. Let's spar.
Do you want your 2 questions?
Yes.
Here we go. The first question. I hope you were paying attention. First one to say it. How many years had Herbert been in prison since the start of the film?
13.
13.
I got that.
Ben said it first. Well done, Ben. You
Lovely.
got a point.
I'm off the mark.
Ooh,
And
12
Adam, you
points.
answered that surprisingly quickly as well. So you
did.
you are hard
was
to
Ben?
beat. 13
Yeah.
just came to me, but you are hard to beat this
He had
year.
it ready
I
to
was
go.
going to say 18. That's probably what I delayed myself on that half second.
Well, very good, Ben. Well done.
Unlucky for some, but not for me or Herbert.
Straight to the next question.
Yes.
Here we go. What does Herbert call his new electric-based invention that
Nanoplasm.
teaches... Well done, Ben. Well
Look at
done.
this.
He's got it. Both
Never getting
points.
that.
Oh, nanoplasm.
I've been there for
Nanoplasm.
years.
Nanoplasm.
Very sorry,
It's the
Adam.
Do you
way
reckon that's what they
forward.
named the iPod Nano on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was the inspiration.
Now we're
Bill
cooking.
Gates watched
Now
that.
we're
Not Bill
cooking
Gates,
with
Steve
gas.
Jobs watched that.
Let me just say the full question, just for anyone who wants to hear it. What does Herbert call his new electric-based invention that teaches the cells how to grow?
Yes.
Nanoplasm.
Well done, Adam. You got the point.
Lovely. And what are the scores now? 15 to me?
No. You're
Tw-
on 13.
Oh, 13. Okay.
13, 18, 9.
So Adam is 5 ahead.
Yes. He's still
Okay.
very much ahead. 2.5 episodes ahead.
That's good. Adam, this is because you was drinking last night, so you've let your brain turn to mush.
I was drinking with you.
I know, but alcohol fine-tunes my mind, whereas it mushes yours.
Ben was actually
Also,
drinking
you went
water.
home early, so we stayed drinking. So.
How long did you stay out?
Oh, only like another half an hour. I think we finished those beers and went home.
Dear listeners, we went to see Spiral at the cinema last night. Paul wasn't there, but I was there with Adam and Scott, who you've heard on this podcast
We won't
before.
say anything about the film.
But
We'll save that for another time.
when we were out after the film at the pub, and a guy came over to the table and he heard us talking about the film, and he's like, "Oh, what film are you talking about?" And we told him, and then we did a little plug for the Film Busters podcast. So, barman from that pub in Whitechapel, if you're listening, hi, I'm glad you took the recommendation. Welcome. Hope you'll listen
What
to
was
us
the
for
pub
many
called?
years. I don't know.
I can't remember. It was next to the Blind Beggar. That's all I remember.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Blind
And they had
Beggar.
their own beer.
They did have their own beer, which I only drank half of because I had to catch my train and missed it nonetheless.
You best be listening.
Yeah. I also forgot, Ben,
better.
how sleepy going to be in the cinema makes you.
How sleepy? What?
In being in the cinema, it's just such a calming environment in such a dark room.
That's why I fell asleep, mate. I'm telling you.
Watching a Saw film should never be so.
I know.
Yeah, I know, but it makes you, it kind of like slows you all down. I forget how like peaceful and like almost like a big reset going to the cinema is.
Wow, it was called the White Hart.
That was it. I knew it was something hard.
I'm going to another pub called the White Hart this evening. Just by
Ooh.
coincidence.
Ooh. Imagine if it's the same one. You just don't realise.
Ain't that a coinky dink? It's definitely not, because it's
You're going
me.
to approach it from a different angle.
Yes.
Different
We
street.
also almost missed the beginning of the film because Ben made us walk in the wrong direction. in the
That's
cinema.
true. So beforehand we went to the pub, and then I said, "Oh, it's only 5 minutes that way," and because I'd looked.
We
on
must
the
have
map
walked
before we
about
went in
7
the
or
pub.
8 minutes
We
before
walked
we
complete
realised.
wrong direction.
And we had to go the other way. And we got in just as the Twisted Films across the screen.
Yeah,
Oh,
literally,
just
as it
in
says
time.
Twisted Pictures.
I almost fell over because it was dark
Adam
and I had a
tripped.
footstool.
You didn't almost fall over. You did.
No, I didn't fall over. I stumbled.
I got a question. Was the
Yeah.
Twisted Pictures logo the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I only saw it for like half a second, but yeah.
Do they do any other films? It's just Saw films, right?
It's what I connect them to is the
Yeah.
Saw films. They probably do any Darren Lynn Bousman films, though. I
guess so,
imagine.
yeah.
In the same way that Blumhouse guy does almost everything by Peel or whoever.
They are also the ones who held in the really dark Lionsgate logo, right? With all the old gears.
Yes, with all the cogs and stuff. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Game over.
Like it's a saw trap.
Saw. How good you are.
I know. Saw.
Anyway, should we talk about this horror film now?
And now
we
it's
need to talk
spiraled down.
Indeed.
Down, 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 deeper and down.
But you can talk about that.
We'll talk
in
about
our
that
monthly
another time.
roundup.
Yes.
About. Yeah, it'll be in our monthly roundup at some point, I imagine.
Anyway, shall we move on to Beyond Re-Animator, the final instalment of the Re-Animator franchise?
Yes, until we make the fourth one.
Let's
Exactly.
bid farewell to Herbert West.
Let's
Let's
do
do it one last time.
Beautiful.
Throughout history, man has searched for the secret to immortality.
She's not getting any fresher.
One doctor has found it,
It was a theory.
but is it worth it?
Awesome! This green shit rocks! No!
Welcome to a world where death is just the beginning. A young doctor with a secret past. A beautiful, ambitious journalist. A sadistic warden. A model prisoner. And Herbert West, the Re-Animator. Beyond Re-Animator. He's at it again.
Right, everyone, today we are talking about the Re-Animator sequel, Beyond Re-Animator from 2003 by Brian Yuzna. This is a spoiler episode. We will be doing spoilers straight away, so no hanging around. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to go watch it first and then come back and listen to our beautiful voices. But first of all, Adam, you have a very important job to do, don't you?
Yes.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to talk about the plot of the film
Oh, okay,
and
do
try
it.
and describe it to you.
Go for it.
So this is set 13 years after the original because he's been in prison. So Herbert West probably gets arrested at the end of the last film, and he's now in prison for 13 years. And the other scientist comes along and they're like, "Oh Herbert, like I need to become friends with you because I saw you when you were younger." And yeah, and they become friends, and then some shit happens.
I thought that
in
was
prison.
the end of the plot. Is that
There's a lot of prison zombies and reanimated prisoners.
Yeah, I guess there is. Kinda.
But he's still trying to fine tune his serum after 13 years of decay.
Well, it takes scientists a long time to perfect their master work, Adam.
Especially when you've been in prison.
Exactly. And you only have
don't even have
rats.
first aid kits in
You only have
prison.
rats to do experiments on. Ratty.
And the people you do the rats on, they're very angry that you do the experiments on their rats.
I know. Tell me about it. Anyway, Ben, you got anything for us?
Not too much for this one, I'll be honest, because I didn't really have the time. But I will tell you that it was filmed in Spain, as you boys probably could tell. It was a Spanish production for the most part, which is why everyone looked so poorly dubbed. It's a predominantly Spanish cast that then had their dialogue dubbed over on top, and it
that
is
explains a lot.
distractingly obvious throughout. Yeah,
So
that's all I've got to say.
That's interesting as well, because his cellmate who liked the rat, he is in Money Heist. Did you notice that, Adam?
Is he?
He's the manager of the bank.
Ah, okay.
The really annoying guy.
recognize
I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
Spanish annoying man.
Spanish
That's-
annoying man, that one.
Spanish annoying man. Yes.
Well, very good.
So I have no trivias.
They
That's
were filmed
fine.
in Spain.
It was filmed in Spain. It was a Spanish production with Spanish cast badly dubbed.
Oh look, and the
That's what we need to know.
screenplay was by Jose Manuel Gomez.
That sounds like a made-up Spanish name.
That's the
'Cause
screenplay.
That is three
So cliche.
cliched names for a Spaniard. Right, we got to cast a Spanish person in this film. What are we going to call him? Jose, too obvious. Manuel, too obvious. Gomez, oh, forget it. We'll just call him Archie.
Right.
Am I doing first?
I think that the order
It is
now
your turn
is
to go first.
yeah, Ben, Adam,
And then it's
Lee.
Paul.
No,
That's
I'm
me.
last. I've never been last.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right, yeah. Adam, you're piggy in the middle here. So, beyond Re-Animator, the third one in the instalment, I'll admit before watching it, my expectations were obviously lower than they were for Bride of Re-Animator. So I was not expecting much. And for the first 15 minutes, I was like, yeah, this is annoyingly what I was expecting. Budget, it's not even a really low budget, it's piss poor everything, filmed terribly, acted terribly, just largely uninteresting. But then there was a really weird moment, and it's when the new doctor, whose name I can't remember now, the new
Dr. Howard Phillips.
Howard Phillips, thank you, Paul. When he walks into the prison, I suddenly had this moment of realization. It was a moment of nostalgia, and it threw me back to watching direct-to-video horror films from like this time, 2002, 2003. And I remember the kind of films I was watching on VHS before DVD at that point that were coming straight out, and I was like, let me get into that mindset, because if I carry on watching this with this cynical mindset now, I'm just going to hate this whole thing. So I got back in that mindset. I was like, just imagine you're 16 again and you're watching this stuff, and it didn't work, because then like the film
that was
flowed
coming.
and loads of things annoyed me. It just didn't work. It worked for like 60 seconds. I'm like, this is all stupid. This is all very silly. But as the film got closer towards the end, I started thinking, do you know, I've not been bored for a second in this. I've wanted to know what was going to happen. I've been annoyed by a lot of things, but this ending is ending quite strong, and it ended very strongly, in my opinion. I really dug it, and by the end, I had a very Jason X feel about the whole film. I was like, this and Jason X are in the same ballpark, but Jason X is stronger, which is why it gets the 6. This one, for all the faults and flaws, I took it a little bit more into my heart than I thought I was going to. It's also a 5 out of 10 though, but it is just better than Bride of Re-Animator.
That is ridiculous.
So it is my second favourite of the trilogy. It ended big. I nearly deducted a point for us showing that rat with a penis too much, but I'll allow it. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. It's
Okay.
a bad film. Don't get me wrong.
I love how I'm trying to defend Bride and you're giving this a 5.
I know it's a bad film, mate. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it's fractionally better than Bride.
Okay.
Okay.
Go on, Adam.
Interesting. So again, I felt the same as Ben. I came into this film thinking, I'm not expecting too much from this one. Like, it's the third one now. You know the legs have probably run out of it. The cast probably don't care. There's probably just people in it for a paycheck. Especially after the second film, I wasn't expecting too much. It started off and I thought, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then it just didn't go anywhere, and I was just bored by the end of it. And I couldn't tell you what happened at the end of it because I was paying no attention to that film. Like, I just couldn't care
Classic.
what was happening.
Yeah, that's classic Adam.
Pretty much that happening. I remember. Yeah,
They recast Meg in it.
I just don't really care.
They recast Meg as a man. She was the warden of the prison, and she had a new name.
She came back as a rat, I thought. Anyway, yeah, it just kept dropping and dropping throughout the film, and I was like, okay, and it gets a 4 out of 10 from me.
Look at that. Very close to Ben still though, so it's like that makes sense.
Down, down, deeper and down.
Get down, down, deeper and down. So in your eyes, it's actually 1, 2, 3. It goes down in rating each time. Fair enough.
Look at that.
Okay. Well, it's time for me. I'm not going to beat around the bush. As expected, this one is no good.
Yeah.
Terrible acting, terrible effects. And once again, like the sexual nature comes into it, which I hated. They're just like stripping people down for the sake of it. But not to get it twisted, though, the setting in a prison for the film could have been really fantastic if they had the talent and budget. Like that was a good setting for a next sequel or the final film, and it made sense for him to be in prison. But they ruined it, unfortunately. And then a rat started pushing a severed willy along the floor, and then it had a fight with it in the credits. It's very bad. It's also a 4 out of 10.
It's a what, sorry?
It's a 4 out of 10, same as Adam.
A 4?
Okay.
Yes, it's a 4.
Okay. I didn't think I was going to be the one who liked this the most.
Yes, indeed.
That certainly threw me off.
I mean, to say you liked it...
I know, is a stretch. So before we go on, can I just establish something?
Yes.
So, overall ratings for a series, mine have been 8, 6, and 5. Mm-hmm. Sorry, 8, 5, and 5.
8, 5, and 5.
Paul, yours were 6, 9,
6,
and 4.
9, 4.
And Adam, yours were
8, 6, and 4, I believe.
Right. So Adam, yours is 18 overall. Paul,
So it's
yours
a 6
is
out of
19
average.
overall, and mine is 18 overall. So Paul is the one after that start where me and you were the lovers of Re-Animator, Adam. It's Paul who gives the entire trilogy the highest overall score.
But I actually only give the second one the highest overall score.
I know,
Because,
isn't that
and
funny?
I rate it lower than both of you for the other films.
Because you so outrageously loved the Bride of Re-Animator so
love
much, it
Bride of
skewed your
Re-Animator.
whole thing.
Exactly.
You're just trying to make the podcast good. You can admit now, Ben, Paul, that the conversation is over, that you didn't actually like it. You just wanted to
I'm
make a
very
podcast.
excited to rewatch that film. It just made me realise how good that film was watching this one.
Yeah, it made me appreciate the second one a
Like
bit
it
more.
had like a kind of
'cause-
80s classic feel to Bride of Re-Animator.
Yeah.
Well, this was just like, this is just pap. Shit.
Yeah, but the thing about this one was you knew it was going to be. Whereas
Yeah, of course.
Bride of Re-Animator, I was anyway holding that to a high standard before going in, and it let me down.
Yeah.
Whereas for this one, I was like, okay, well, it's going to be bad. And it was like, well, it is, but actually it had some redeeming stuff.
What I really hate about this one is how they go for the really cheap shit. Like the two actors, the doctor and the reporter, they had no chemistry and their dialogue was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they over-sexualised this reporter, and she was getting out the car and she got an upskirt in the car, and it's like, oh, what is this? What are they trying to do with this? It's just this odd sexual nature, and then one of the nurses, her whole outfit gets ripped off, and the whole
I know.
she's naked.
It's
It's like,
just
Was that the one at the end where the
appalling.
head was trying to bite her tit again?
yes, that one.
Yeah, all that stuff is actually disgraceful.
Yeah.
It's not right. It's not good. And you know what? The problem is the horror community will, not all of them, but a large number of people in the horror community eat that shit up and they expect it. And it's like, this is so degrading.
Yeah.
Do you know what it always reminds me of? It's Have you ever seen in Family Guy, Peter, he goes to the video store and he'll rent a film, and then when he hands it back, he puts a little note in it and says, "There's no tits in this film. Don't rent this film." It's like that kind of person that gets the satisfaction out of it.
Yeah, there are saddos out there who will go, "Oh, but at least this smoking hot girl gets her tits out, so it's worth watching it." It's like, what are you? Come on, Virgin.
It's on the internet.
Fuck off, Virgin.
It's people who are not film fans, right? They're watching it just for the thrill, and it's like, oh, and then that girl got her clothes ripped off.
Yes, I know.
It's like
if you
disgusting.
want that, go.
I remember
Google
saying
porn.
that type of shit when you were like 15.
Yeah, when you're 15, but even when I was 15, I couldn't really give two fucks.
I would, but you wouldn't. Maybe you, as a horny teenager, like, oh yeah, but you wouldn't give the film like, this is a brilliant, fantastic masterpiece.
No.
Oh no.
But overall, I mean, that's been a trend in all of the films, right? This one was stupid with it. It was obvious, but like in all three films, women are stripped down and objectified throughout. And I guess you could say
I wouldn't say
it's
Bride. She was naked at the end, but she was covered. It wasn't like they were just purposely trying to strip her down.
Yeah, but I mean,
like,
even the female
sodomise
characters
her.
within the film weren't really dealt with properly. They were just there to serve purposes.
Yeah.
Listen, Bride was fantastic. Let's not even go there.
But essentially, a woman who was dead was stitched back together so that she could satisfy a man.
Yes, that's very true. Yes, it's true. But I don't mind that because it's all subtext. It's not on the screen. Like no one's gonna be like, oh look, they're making her just have sex with her. It's not like you see the sex. It's comedy because that's the reason. It's a stupid idea where actually stripping someone down. You're stripping someone down on screen to evoke one reaction so that the audience go, oh look, she's naked.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing it for. There's no kind of amazing like reason for it other than that.
It's sad and it's creepy. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's calling those shots. It's doing that. And you've got to think, like, I was there, like, the nurse, the one you speak of, the nurse who from the off is clearly dressed inappropriately. Like, you can see her panties through her whole nurse's gown. She's clearly not wearing a bra underneath from the beginning. And then when that thing, like, bit her breast and ripped her clothes off, I'm like, why did this person take this paycheck? Like I understand like opportunities are hard to come by and all that, and you've got to do what you've got to do to take that break, but people need to stand against that stuff. I'm assuming they do that now, but like if you saw budget horror movies now, I'm sure that's still happening.
This is why I can appreciate the Re-Animator one for making it a shock factor. It's still not right that they're just showing women on screen.
The first one.
But the shock, there's a shock behind it. There's a kind of a force behind the shot, right? Where this just stripping someone down for no reason, just so they can have a naked woman in the screen, it's shit. It's no good. And then they try so hard to recapture what that kind of end scene was like in the first Re-Animator by having this woman again being almost sodomized by this man, this wrapped man, and then she strips down. She's got a corset on, and it's like, what is going on? What is going on in this film?
Stockings and all that stuff.
Yeah, no good.
No good. But this film did, like, for all its flaws, of which there are many, too many to even go into, the thing that I did like about it, because it made me feel uncomfortable, was the fact that they did manage to follow up on the sort of like subplot that they teased in the first Re-Animator, which was that Dr. Thingy, whatever his name was going to sort of merge his body with the girl. And in this film, they actually did that. They merged the warden.
Yeah, there was more of a moral compass in this film, wasn't there? It's like you're okay to do it with animals, but you won't do it with humans, kind of.
What you're saying that Dr. Hill was going to merge himself with Meg?
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that what his plan was?
I think so.
I thought he was just trying to do something with her because he was horny.
There's a director's cut of Re-Animator which adds something like 15 minutes, and it goes in. It basically cut the scene where he explains that that's what he wants to do.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I think I might have the director's cut.
There you go.
The one I got at home, so that'd be interesting to watch.
Is your Steelbook come yet?
Yeah, it came. I sent a picture on the WhatsApp group, but you didn't see it, did you? Yeah. Ben saw it.
Let's have a look. It's probably ugly and horrible, and I ignored
No,
it.
it's very nice.
It's very good. Yeah, it's one of the nicer ones I've seen. But anyway,
So
I liked seeing that.
Well, it comes in a little plastic case with a plastic
No,
case.
I put the plastic in the plastic case.
Do you have a plastic case for all of them?
Yes,
Aw,
to keep them safe.
that is a nice one, I'll give you that.
Thank
It's got a
you.
very Breaking Bad feel on it.
Go on, Ben. What were you going to say?
I've said it.
I didn't hear what you said.
I just said that was interesting that they actually followed up on it.
Oh, okay. Yes, I agree. So once again, they made it into a trend. They're not going to explain how Herbert West got out of the last situation,
No.
which I'm fine with, because it's like it's part of the franchise. They're just not going to explain it.
Yeah.
That's part of the comedy of it, I guess.
Yeah. It is part of the comedy, I suppose, but I still don't get. I'm still not over how annoying it was that they ignored that for Bride, because that is a major cop out, man. You had a great climax and then you just drop it entirely.
But then I think the climax for Bride was bigger. The whole house fell down on him. Like, you actually saw him
that was
crushed.
it kind of like up until that point, I was kind of a bit losing it with Bride, and then it kind of brought me back and brought me interested back. But this film didn't have anything. And like you said in your review, Paul, like, being in a prison is an interesting setting. They could have done a lot with it, and they just kind of didn't. They kind of just kept it the same as everyone, but just in a prison.
They had some interesting moments with it. So, like, reanimate. So he wanted to really punish all the prisoners. So he reanimates them while they're hanging. That's a creepy concept to do.
And there was that prisoner who was reanimating himself when he was still alive.
Oh, that was okay. Let's talk about the effects in this film, because they were shit. The first effect you see when that guy comes and kills the sister.
Yeah.
That was, I think, that's the
quite
hardest
good.
effect they had in there.
Yeah,
and it still wasn't
that one
that
was
good.
quite good. It was okay.
It was
Yeah.
okay, but it was quite cool when he was pouring the milk in his mouth.
Yes, it was. He's
But
lapping
then-
it up.
But then when this guy's injecting the Re-Animator serum and he's like addicted to it, he's like a fucking muppet. He turns into. He's got his massive eyes and shit.
That actor was highly annoying in the first.
You
place.
sent that gift to Julio as well, didn't you, Paul?
Did I?
Yeah, you sent Julio a gift.
Oh yes, of him
Pretty much
injecting.
of you pumping it.
Yes.
And I remember looking at that GIF and then watching this film. I was thinking, shit, that's the gift that Paul sent.
I actually didn't even realise where that bit was from.
Yeah.
When I
it
said
was from this film. It was from that prisoner doing it.
It's true. I was thinking, who injected it into themselves? But yes, and I already watched it by that point. That kind of says something. And then you have the shit rat prop.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
In such an annoying way, this just kind of like started off so strong and it just kind of gone.
Yeah, that first film was just the diamond in,
I thought
in
at
the
least
rough.
I was never expecting anything from this film from the beginning. Even if the second one I enjoyed it, I wouldn't have expected much from this one because third film, such a big gap again.
But it's like it's schoolboy stuff that they get wrong.
yeah.
Like, one
it's
of the
lazy
things.
filmmaking, and that's the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can make a good film and still be awful, but if you're lazy with it, that's what I don't like. It's not hard. It's not hard not to be lazy. It's not hard not to be sloppy.
They saw the good name of Dan as well. They made him a witness against
Do you know
him.
what? At least they gave an explanation.
It's
because
true.
at least they did that. I'm like, okay, well, at least you're explaining how Herbert's ended up here and
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that no one needed to say anything. They could have just saw how he was injecting all these people.
why. Yes, of course. But he was getting away with it for ages.
True.
The thing that I was going to say is, despite the fact that everyone knows this film was going to be bad, it's not like, oh, but it was lack of money or something, because it takes nothing to just write well, just write a good film.
I know.
Even little things. In the first two films, Animator and Bride of, before the credits cut, we get like a sort of campy one-liner from Herbert West, like, I gave them life, or something like that. This time, we get him like pursing his lips, camp as you like, doesn't even like, it's like he's doing an impression of Herbert West from the past, and then it just cuts to credits when he throws the serum out, or he drops the serum on the street.
It's the little boy picking it up.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, that's just
I had to
not very
rewind the
good.
film when it finished. I had to rewind it and go back because I was like, did I miss something in this ending? Because it just ended. It felt.
Well, I enjoyed the ending.
It felt like it needed. I felt like it was kind of in the middle of something and then ended.
I mean, he got
Herbert
away.
West got away. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I like that it's ended that way because
Do you
now
reckon
it's
they'll make
like.
a fourth one?
But see, this is how ridiculous the Re-Animator trilogy is.
They
In
would
the
have made
past
it
two
by now,
films,
I feel
you
like.
kill him off and then you bring him back, and now this one you've got him alive and you don't bring him back.
He wasn't dead in the last one. He was just trapped under the rubble.
Well, we assume. We
His
just
arm
assume he was
sticking
trapped.
out like Terminator.
I don't think you saw. You didn't. He just fell on him, and then they came out the cemetery. That was it.
Herbert West was looking old as fuck. It was sad to see. It just
was.
made me think, fuck, time's gonna ravage us all, man.
Although in
He was very wrinkly.
there's a gif of him when he's like squirting the serum, and also on the poster he looks so much older than he actually does in the film, I think.
It's probably because of the colour that they've tried to tint it with
Yeah.
to make it look all eerie and creepy.
And grey.
But yes, I was thought, well, who's going to reanimate you when you die, mate?
No.
I made a note. I said Re-Animator, the Prison Break years.
Yes.
It's the acting was like what you'd expect in Prison Break, where like bad acting and situations that just don't make sense, and you're just like, well, fuck it, I'm in too deep
but
now.
At least in Prison Break they had 20 episodes to fill a season. On this, you've only got an hour and a half to film.
Yeah, I know. it's short, and this is the first one where like it really dragged. It did drag, even though I enjoyed it more than the second one. This dragged a lot more.
I just lost interest in this film. I didn't lose interest in the other ones.
The dialogue was absolutely atrocious as well. I wrote down some of the best of the
Worse.
atrocious dialogue, and one was when the reporter first met the doctor, and she was like, anything you say will be taken out of context, and he's like, let me just say hi. It's like, what is that shit?
And also, this warden of the prison, I was just like, it's a chuckle brother, man. I couldn't get
Oh my
over
god,
it.
I put down it's a chuckle brother.
Yeah, there you go.
Put it as a note.
He was. It's the older chuckle brother, isn't it?
I said the exact. Where in my notes, I literally said,
Barry or
imagine. I said the prison warden Brando, one of the Chuckle brothers. I put that in my notes.
The taller one.
The taller one, the bigger
the one who
the
looks
one
like
who's
a
still
Chuckle
alive.
brother. Yes. And there's another really bad line. It's when the drug addict prisoner, and he's trying to get some drugs off of the doctor, and he's like, those little red pills, little red tits, just because a woman walks in the room, and it's like, that is not even a good line.
No,
It's
it's immature shit.
It's
mate.
just immature. It's like, why is that a good line? Who would write that?
I know.
Ridiculous.
There is a lot there. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of bad shit in this, but because, like, the thing that the large difference for me is I can really not remember much from Bride because it all just blurred into such ordinariness. Whereas in this, even though it offended me multiple times, I'm like, okay, but at least I remember this. Like, there's some iconic shots from this film that I can remember, that I can't remember from Bride. The ending of this one is very strong. The final 15-20 minutes is all strong stuff. Like, that's the only time it actually felt like a Re-Animator film. Everything up until that point was just something else.
Let's say our favourite things from this film. I'll say my first one. I liked when the warden was walking off with his legs bent backwards like a rat.
Yeah, that was good. And I liked the end when her head was chopped off.
Oh, yeah.
When she was just asking to die, that whole final exchange between him, the young doctor, and her as she was dead, that was great. I really liked that. I thought it was done very well. It was quite creepy as well.
Because you didn't even see that she was beheaded, and then the policeman picks it off of him, doesn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, I really liked that.
I also liked when...
What's Adams?
I can't honestly remember.
I knew you were going to say that.
I liked, maybe the only bit I liked is when he came to get his rat back, and then he was like, "Where's my rat?" And then he gave it back to him, and he was like, "Oh, he was so excited." I thought that. And
That's the weirdest scene for you to call out in this
I know,
film.
it's one that
the scene
stands
where
out
he
in my
gets
head
his
most.
rat back.
I only watched this like the other day, and I can't remember it too tough.
And then his reason was, this isn't my rat. It's like, what? Because I normally kiss him.
Jesus, man.
And then he kisses his rat, and his rat bites him.
Oh, I know. So dumb. I also liked when at the beginning where they're bagging the arm, and then the arm comes out and tries to grab him. Do you remember the beginning? I quite
And he's
like that.
obviously like fighting it at the same time as pulling it back.
Yes.
Like he's got to bring it towards him in such a way that it look like he's holding off.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but it was a real hand because the bag was like obscured from shot at the bottom of the bag. So they put a fake arm in so you can see the bottom of the arm.
And
put
then
it
put
in, and then
the
another
real arm
arm's
out.
come up, a real arm come out. Good effect.
Good
I
effect,
liked it.
clever. More of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
See, that's the type of thing you accept. You know they're being fun with it. They're being practical. Yes, we accept you haven't got a big budget, but you've at least been imaginative in how you've done it.
Yeah.
And then they just fight a penis at the end of a rat.
Yeah, I mean, that was just really annoying. That was so, and that was like...
That
this
was like
is just
Naked Gun.
so immature, yeah.
That was Naked Gun shit.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
It wasn't that. I mean, the comedy wasn't that hard for them to suddenly just make a penis come alive and fight a rat.
There was nothing funny in this film at any point.
I don't think so. No, I can't think of anything funny. Yeah, not gonna think. The acting was just too bad, and the line, the delivery of the lines just weren't good enough to actually make a good punchline.
Exactly, and you know what the previous two films had in their arsenal that was to their credit is that when Herbert West wasn't on screen, you could still get on board with the film. But in this one, when you didn't have Herbert West in a scene, it was just the worst acting in the world.
I think we got to give credit to Dan.
Yeah,
I think Dan was a good balance for him.
Yeah, they had a bit more chemistry. I mean, Dan was pretty wooden as an actor, but
still, I kind of liked
they
him.
had chemistry.
I kind of liked him as a double act.
I liked this guy, this new doctor that they brought in, because he was giving it a little, he was giving it some, but he just had no chemistry with anyone he shared the screen with, even with Herbert West.
I mean, I don't really understand what his driving force was.
So I made a note at the time. I was like, are they going to explain why he's doing this? And there is a point where he's with the reporter after they've slept together, where he's like, I knew about him because of this, and it's just because of getting that fucking serum thrown at his feet when he was a kid. It's just that he's carried it with him for life. Somehow knows exactly what it does and hasn't used it.
And unable, because he was unable to bring his sister back. He said he tried to resuscitate her or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a cheap kind of way to make it a new Dan, because Dan just couldn't bring someone back to life at the first Re-Animator. So
well, I mean, surely that's got to be the driving force for anyone in these Re-Animator films, because the whole thing is trying to bring back people who are gone.
But at the same time, it's like, Herbert killed your sister. It's like, this killed your sister. So why do you think this is a good thing?
I liked that at least they were pushing the concept forward of doing something new. It's like, well, we said in the last episode, what is beyond Re-Animator? Yeah, and the beyond is, let's not only bring them back, let's make them function. Yeah. Let's really bring them back.
Which makes
sense.
He
was trying. He wasn't trying to create monsters.
He almost made that as a cocktail, like the right balance, wasn't it? With that guy who's in the first guy, the bald guy, and then
I really didn't like that. The minute you're introduced to that bald prisoner, I'm like, okay, well, this guy's clearly going to die because they've got someone gruesome who they are going to kill and make even more gruesome for the purpose of this plot. And then he was just so annoying. Why did he keep saying religious stuff throughout and religious chants? It's like, this adds nothing. He was just horribly over the top and lowest common denominator movie monster that appeals.
Like, this guy needs to be in an insane asylum
instincts.
rather than just a normal prison.
Yeah,
because he clearly didn't have the right mental functions, because he was just spouting odd religious shit. And
doesn't anyone who says anything religious?
Hey,
yes,
and
there's a stance.
Staying in.
That's the way the news goes. And the thing that I just couldn't get over, the most unbelievable thing about the whole thing, right, is you have Herbert West in your prison. You know what he's in prison for, and then you just allow him to go off and set up this lab with this other doctor, and you don't really question it. You know what he did.
You know what
there's
the
only one reason
well.
why he's in prison. You know what he's doing in there, but you just allow it to go on.
I know.
Then you act all surprised when it does happen.
It's like and the fact there's not much security in this prison, is there? And there's that one security guard who basically does everything in the prison.
Yeah, and they try and make him comic relief, and it's
I
like,
know.
this is
Like the prisoner,
stupid.
like the security guard in the first one with his porno.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to do that.
It's about little is more effective than using him through the whole film.
Yes.
Him
I have
going
got to
off for a
say,
wank is better than this whole guy in the film.
yeah, absolutely. Hint at the comedy rather
Yes.
than lay it out.
Yes.
That's the Withnail and I school of comedy.
Oh.
I did find this reporter to be the most attractive woman in the whole Re-Animator series, though. Definitely.
What, more than Meg?
Yeah, Meg was not attractive to me.
Well,
Aw.
I think her acting turned me off her, so because she was so atrocious.
Ooh, savageness.
Well, she was atrocious.
I know, but
Yeah. But it doesn't help that it was all dubbed. That's the thing. Like, the acting, I think, was
Yeah.
probably not
It's a
quite
very
as bad as
off-putting
it
thing.
seems.
Maybe.
so I watched a film the other day. What was it called? And again, they dubbed all the actors, even all the English actors. They dubbed them all afterwards, and it was just so off-putting.
Yeah,
It was,
but they do that with a lot of, like, spaghetti westerns.
Tenny Bear.
Yeah.
Is it Ten Bear?
Teddy
Brie.
Bear.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh.
Dario Argento, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just the style. That works
Yeah, they
for me,
dubbed
though.
all the people's in the thing, and it works. And then when it doesn't work, it's just so obvious, and it just takes you out of the moment. You just like you're
See,
out.
for those sorts of films, I find it works for the Argento films because everything is so highly stylized in them anyway, shots and cuts and music, that when the dialogue is clearly dubbed, it adds to the very surreal nature of the whole piece. Everything is very disjointed and disconnected, so it works. Whereas this was just done because it was
But
poorly budgeted.
it can take you out of a moment too if it's not well enough. It only works
Yes.
with the good actors in the film.
It's not hard to take you out of the moment, Adam. You've got a very
I
short
know.
attention span.
I know.
Very short.
You break it and you've lost it.
But I tell you, there was a lot more going on in this film than the last. You got to keep up as it was going along. It wasn't like, you could look away for a few minutes. Plot was developing constantly. You got to keep up. It moved very fast.
No good.
Well, I enjoy. Basically, it was like a little ticking time bomb under the table. That when it went off for that final act, it paid off for me. It did enough for me for it to be worth it. If it hadn't paid off the final act, I would have really rated this low. But it got saved with the madness, the chaoticness of the end. The warden being ratish, the warden also being in the girl's body, and then the disembodied head at the end, and Herbert West getting away. All of that worked really well.
It just goes against what I wanted from the film as well, because there's just no good effects in it, really.
No, they
And
rely.
and it's so little effects as well.
They do have practical effects. It's just, yeah, exactly. The practical effects are just not good. This is like a 15, and I guess the first Re-Animator would have been an 18. And it felt a little too sanitized.
And did
But
they?
the minute the warden was under her skin, that's when I was like, okay, now I'm on board.
You're getting something from it.
Yeah, but then meanwhile, this is what was so frustrating about the fucking film. While it was doing interesting stuff like that, why cut to this prison riot we don't give a fuck about? No one's coming to the Re-Animator film to see these prisoners rioting, and don't try and throw in these silly prisoners, the one who's hopped up on drugs all the time. Like, we don't want to see that. That's not interesting.
Do you know what I hate in films? When a character forces another character to give them a blowjob. Who is so stupid to make someone give you a blowjob under duress, and they have your penis in their mouth? Are you absolutely dumb?
Well, yes,
It's
I know.
ridiculous. I hate that. It's like they are. You're under their control right now, and they can just bite your penis off.
Yeah.
What idiots! I mean, I'm not saying there's a right way to go about it.
Well, the less teeth, the better.
Oh, okay. What, you got to remove all the teeth?
That
that
just
where
sounds
you're going?
creepy now.
I'm just saying.
Swiftly move away from that topic.
Yes. And speaking of teeth, they gave the warden, when he merged with the rat, they gave him
Yes.
the big cartoon teeth.
Extended teeth, Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid shit. That's always going to be bad when you see stuff like that. I mean, listen, mate. It's only just better than Bride, but this should never have been good and kind of was, whereas the sequel should have been good and wasn't. So they're on a par that balances out because of it.
See, the Bride of Re-Animator has the effects, it has the comedy, it has the wildness, like the absolute craziness that it gets to into by its end, and it builds, and it gives you a good story that they're making this body, and I loved it. This was nothing.
Yeah, but that body thing, I don't know why you're treating like that was some new thing.
It doesn't matter. It's just how well it was done, in your opinion.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really
I
well
will
done.
remember Bride more than I remember this.
I won't. I will remember this over Bride, definitely. I can barely remember Bride now as it is.
With a little bat head.
Yes.
Yeah, see, even
Wonderful.
that... It's yeah, but for me, in terms of a memorable thing, I didn't like the effect, don't get me wrong, but the body, the prisoner who doesn't have his legs in this film, who was just swinging around down the corridors and all that,
he was.
that is more memorable to me than the bat head now.
But it also, you can see the green screen while it's happening.
Yeah,
And I hate that.
Yeah, most certainly. But nevertheless, that's memorable to me. And mixed with everything else that was going on in that climax, I remember that happening and like kind of smiling to myself, being like, "Oh, this is quite fun." It was. That was fun.
I'll give you that. Yeah, it was a bit fun.
It was oddly
Do you want to know what's so appalling?
Go on.
Despite how bad this film is and how bad Bride of Re-Animator is,
In
they're
your opinion.
both better. Yeah, in my factual opinion, they are both better than Spiral.
Oh, look at that.
You just dropping out your spoilers, man.
It's not
It's a
about
teaser.
spoilers.
It's a teaser.
It's a teaser. And that is what is... That should tell you, dear listeners, anyone who hasn't seen Spiral, just how bad Spiral is, that this is head and shoulders better.
I haven't seen Ben this angry at a film in a long time. It might be worth tuning into the Patreon episode to just watch him go off on it.
I mean, there's history with Saw, so
Yeah.
it hurts you.
Adam also acknowledges that as well, because he gives Spiral a same rating as this film. So that
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
tells you just how bad Spiral is, because Adam really didn't like this film. Anyway.
Damn you, Chris Rock.
But I really wasn't sure. I wasn't sure, as I was going along in this, I wasn't sure that I was pretty sure this was going to be the worst film. But then it hit that point as we hit that third act where I was like, okay, maybe.
And then it just never got there.
No, it did. Like, that's it. When I was like, maybe it's better than the second, and it's like a corpse with no legs, the warden bent over backwards going full rat, the face off between the Dr. Phillips and the beautiful woman. That electrocution. And the slitting of the neck was pathetic. But then there was loads of cuts.
Well, when he kept doing it.
But then there were loads of cuts, and I was like, okay, I can dig this.
Nah.
And I did. The ending.
The reanimated bride, Dr. Hill's bat head, all the corpses that come out of the crypt in the back of the laboratory, the waving dog. It's all better in Bride of Re-Animator for me.
Yeah, I'm sure most people agree. Well, most people do agree with you on Twitter, but most people is no mark of anything.
Well, it's all personal, isn't it? It's all
Exactly.
personal opinion.
It's all personal opinion, but ultimately,
Ben's wrong.
Ultimately, it all comes back to Re-Animator. As we know, the sequels, forget it. It's about the original and what it was setting out to do, and that original was great. It was good fun. It was very interesting. That was a very strong film.
All I can say is Bride of Re-Animator wouldn't even be in existence if there wasn't a Re-Animator, so I have to thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to rewatch it.
We'll see. We'll see what I think. Hopefully it's director's cut as well.
That's
My Marge Simpson laugh.
Hey, homie!
That's funny. I never even thought of it. That is your laugh. You're Marge Simpson. Oh dear.
I think that's the end of our review and the end of our Re-Animator season.
I think that's the end of our journey, boys.
I think it is.
It is the end of Re-Animator.
You must
It
at
was
least
a
be
journey.
glad that the journey ends with the fact that Herbert West is still out there in the world right
Yes.
now.
He's reanimating cats all over the place.
Yeah.
I think it would be wonderful to see a modern take on Re-Animator.
The thing is,
Herbert West is too old now.
Brad Dourif is involved in a Re-Animator film. Hang on a sec.
Oh, really?
So Herbert West, Re-Animator. I don't know. It said it was in production in 2018.
Oh, okay.
Brad Dourif was going to play Dr. William Blackmore, who I don't know who that is.
It's probably going to be someone who's taking the work, who takes on Herbert's work or something.
It was announced in 2018 that it will star Brad Dourif, Lynn Shay, and Serge Levin.
Lynn Shay.
It's in pre-production. Lynn Shay is the lady from the films you've been watching recently.
Insidious, yeah.
Anyway.
Terrible films, really.
All right, so averaging our scores, boys, brings this film to 4.3, which puts it, the best position it can get is 5th from bottom. Do you want to know the films that are below it?
Yes.
So the worst film that we have watched for this podcast, with a 1.7 average, American Psycho 2. Above that, criminally, with a 2.5 average, is the Jesus Rolls.
No,
it's in a very good position.
Okay, in your opinion. But now, we have a decision to make, boys, because this film is a 4.3, and the next two films on the list are 4.3. They are...
The Meg.
From lowest to highest, Tomb Raider and The Meg. So you must decide, is this film...
Between them both.
This is the problem. I would give this a higher rating than both of them, but I would rather watch both of those films, and I went to see one of them with you guys, so it's nicer.
The trouble is, both of you have rated both of those films higher than what you've given this.
No, I gave it a 4. Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And I give this a 4.
You gave two. Oh right, okay, yeah.
So I rate this above Tomb Raider.
I gave this higher than I give both of those films, I believe.
No, Adam, you gave The Meg a 5, and you gave Tomb Raider a 5.
So it's below them both.
Okay, below them both for you.
That is a terrible call.
Hang on, Paul. Did you say you put it above Tomb Raider?
Yeah, mine's above Tomb Raider.
And I would put it above them all. So that actually means that's where it goes, above Tomb Raider.
In the middle, yeah. There you go. It's what, 4th place? 4th from bottom.
Yeah. Well, so there we go, folks. You heard it. The Meg. These two think The Meg was better than this. They prefer some Jason Statham CGI shit. For all the things that they've said about bad acting and CGI, they think that The Meg is better than this. They're very inconsistent individuals. The Meg was all CGI and bad acting and completely unoriginal, scary and not fun.
But there's no over sexual moments in The Meg, and I can forgive the film for that.
And there's a big ass shark.
I can't deal with people just exposing women just for a laugh.
And there's not a shark.
And there's not a big shark in it. So and come on, sharks win over naked women.
And that's why he's still a virgin.
Caption that.
Okay, well, there you go. It's in our top 10. But do you know what that means? It means that Persona moves out of relegation zone.
It does.
Persona was at the top spot of relegation. It's now moved into the lower portion of the league, but not in danger anymore. And that means Venom is the next one to potentially break out of relegation zone.
Give them our top 10, Ben. Bottom 10.
Okay,
10.
our bottom 10 from lowest to highest. American Psycho 2, The Jesus Rolls, Tomb Raider, Beyond Re-Animator, The Meg, 3 from Hell, In Time, Jason X, Green Book, Venom, and Persona is now out.
There we go.
That's a bad batch of films.
That is a bad batch of films.
That is. Can you imagine if for what we did for like a 24-hour live stream in our future was watch all 10 of our lowest rated films back to back?
Holy shit.
We'd have to raise some money in order to do that.
Cinema.
It would. Can you imagine? Oh my god. Venom. And they just get progressively worse. So the more tired you get, the worse the movies are.
I would probably, when it gets American Psycho 2, I'd probably throw the TV out of the window.
Jesus Rolls would just pull it back for me at the end. Just when I think I'm dying, I'm like, at least we got Jesus Rolls.
I mean, Venom feels like a masterpiece compared to most of those films.
Yeah, it does. All right, boys.
Lovely. Shall we move on to what our patrons have to say this episode? Right, so for the uninitiated, every episode we have our patrons that tell us what they want us to watch and our listeners to watch. So today we have Julio, and he says, here's one for Ben's De Niro project, Taylor Hackford's The Comedian, which is not a sequel to The King of Comedy, even though De Niro plays a stand-up comic in it too. It's not great, but grading it in the curve of latter-day De Niro, it's watchable. Hell of a cast too, so that keeps things entertaining. Also finally watched The White Tiger, aka Slumdog Unleashed. I thought it was really good, although it pulled its punches at the end. And now I can listen to the FYR episode about it. Yes, you can, it's a good episode.
For your reference.
Yes, for your reference. Starting off with De Niro, go on, Ben. What you got to say about that?
I had that Comedian on my watch list for ages, and it said that it was available on Amazon Prime. And then when I tried to access it, it's like, you know, when Letterboxd does that thing where it says it's available, and it's just another film that has that title. And I really wanted to see it because it did look good. So I'm glad that Julio says that it is one of the better offerings from De Niro's later years.
He says it's watchable.
I know, but Julio is a very harsh critic when he doesn't like something. So if he says it's watchable, and I saw what he said on Letterboxd, I was reading his Letterboxd review of it last night, and he was saying some good things about it. So I look forward to it.
Fair but firm.
Well, you have been watching some Pat from De Niro, so it's got to be better than most of it.
Yes, I've been watching some Pat, but I've also been uncovering some stuff that I was like, okay,
nice. And White Tiger.
I agree with what he says.
I enjoy that film, although it's now gone from memory, and
yeah,
it's like I watched it and it just fizzled out. I liked it at the time.
Is that
it had its moments. It had its moments. I kind of, the ending was a bit annoying.
And let's just say, Julio, did you want them to do a Bollywood dance at the end? Yes or no?
And if they had done that, that would have been ridiculous. It's strong because they don't. If they had done that, it would have been so stupid. It's stronger that it's solid and stout, you know?
Very good.
All right, cheers, Julio. Next up is Jamie Russell, and I'm delighted to read this. Really enjoying my first watch of Twin Peaks. Whoop. No turning off this one, Katie and OT. And I'm currently in the second half of season 2. Have to say that there's a significant difference between the Lynch Frost episodes and the others, but it's still seminal TV, of course. I'm looking forward to watching Fire Walk with Me following this too. On the film front, Judas and the Black Messiah is a powerful and urgent film that I would strongly recommend. The film has 3 excellent performances from Kaluuya, Plemons and Stanfield. Kaluuya may have taken the Oscar for his charismatic performance as Fred Hampton, but a star turn here is from Stanfield, in my opinion. Brilliantly compelling drama. Yes. Well, on Twin Peaks, so glad you're going through it, Jamie, and we will have much to discuss once you make it to the end of this journey. I almost feel like you can't say anything to anyone who's in the middle of experiencing Twin Peaks. Yes. I don't even like to say, oh, wait until this or wait until that. You kind of just need to go through it all. But I will say,
I feel like you've got to experience it together or wait till they've finished it.
Yes. Yeah, totally. You're right. The dip in season 2, or the widely perceived dip in quality in season 2, I acknowledge, but also for me, I've rewatched it several times now. It's part of the overall charm and package, and without revealing anything, because of how fucking dark the show gets, the ridiculous levity that you get in that middle portion of season 2, it just works. You need it. It's almost like a palate cleanser before what's to come. I love it. I fucking love it. It's the greatest television show. If I could package it alongside film, it would be better than any film that I've ever watched as well. The experience of Twin Peaks is, it is the thing.
That is good. I'm actually going to rewatch it very soon.
There you go.
I might rewatch it after I finish watching The Sopranos.
Don't bother.
You hate me for it.
You didn't like it the first time round. You won't like it the second time round. You were very critical.
You're on your phone the whole time.
When was I critical of it?
You said many negative things. You said, I don't understand
You said too much coffee, too much thumbs up.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of, when we went to the cinema yesterday, Paul, I'm going to send you this picture in the WhatsApp right now. Everybody
Okay.
can hear Paul's reaction to this picture. This was the billboards that was outside the cinema yesterday.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I remember now. I said, what the hell are you sending me a picture of?
No, that's cute.
It's a
That's
picture
cute.
of Agent Dale Cooper drinking coffee
Eating pie.
with a load of donuts and a brine croissant in the bowl, and it says, "We have damn good coffee, Genesis Cinema."
Very good. Loving it.
And onto his comments about Black Messiah. I believe you're going, Adam.
I might go see it this weekend if I get the chance to, yes, so I'm quite excited for it. It's one of the films, out of all this kind of Oscar batch, that I still really want to see.
Yeah,
I'm looking
I think
forward to
so.
it.
Out
Yeah.
of all the hype, that's probably the only one I'm really interested in.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear your views, Adam.
I will. We'll let you know in due course.
Dankeschön.
Due course.
So Nerdrovert, he said he watched St. Maud. It's a slow burn horror movie that had me feeling uncomfortable in my seat for the majority of the runtime. Reviews seem to be pretty divided. You either love it or you hate it, but I gave it 4 stars. I think
Decent.
he means he likes it then, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's decent.
I went to see that and I was very impressed with it too.
Was yours 4 stars?
Yes.
8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still it's on my list. It's been interesting. I think it was one of those films that was trailed during the middle of lockdown, wasn't it?
It was right. I feel like I watched it. I think it was one of the last films I saw at the cinema in October before Picture House closed their doors.
Yeah.
But it was.
It kind of came out
good.
on that cusp where it kind of got lost, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
He also said, "Those who wish me dead lacks any real depth and development, but it more than makes up for it for having you on the edge of your seat for the majority of the runtime." Aidan Gillen, is that correct?
I think so.
I think so.
Aidan Gillen continues to shine in his role where you love to hate him, and he gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So what's that, a 7 overall?
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Is that the new Angelina Jolie film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
kind of
I don't
looks
even know what
very
that's about.
meh.
This is a
my
fire in a
opinion.
forest or something. That's all I know.
It just seems like Angelina Jolie's picking up
in
and
a
tracking an
forest.
action film.
He gives it a 3.5 out of 5, which is not bad. I do like
That's a
Aidan
decent
Gillen,
score.
of course. Little finger.
Is he the one from Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
Who
he's
played,
Little Finger.
Yeah.
That is that film, right? The one with Angelina Jolie in the forest.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him on stage about 11 years ago when I went to see Glenn Ross on stage, and he played the Al Pacino role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did he do-
Was that
did he do it
11 years
justice?
ago?
11, 12 years ago. I've been to see it since. I've been to see it on stage
I'm about
since.
to say,
it's not
'cause
that
I
time I
remember
saw it
you
when
going to
Christian
see it.
Slater was in it. I've seen Christian Slater in it, I've seen Aidan Gillen in it, and I've seen Jonathan Pryce in it.
Loving it.
Yeah.
Who did the best?
Aidan Gillen.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Nice. Lovely. Well,
Lovely.
thank you, patrons. Thank you very much.
Thanks all.
Get all those checked out.
Yes.
So we're going to tell the people what we're doing on our next episode now that we've come to the end of our wonderful Re-Animator
We did tell 'em.
journey.
Yes, yes. Well, we've already told you.
We've
up
already
front.
told them, you know.
Yes. So
It's more of a reminder.
for your reference, they have told us, instructed us that as patrons, we are watching Pan's Labyrinth, a film we've all seen before, very long time ago. We all have our opinions.
It's almost a fresh viewing for me,
Yes,
I think.
it's pretty much
Yeah,
a
it
fresh
will
viewing.
almost be a fresh for me, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be very excited to talk about you guys next episode.
Yes, I'm excited to rewatch it and see if things have changed. And it will lead into our topic that we're about to go and record for patrons now as to whether second viewings change your opinion on it.
Indeed.
I'm not
And
going to
you
say
can-
what I thought about Pan's Labyrinth that first time round.
I've removed my score, but you might have
So
already
have
seen
I.
it.
No, I've removed mine.
If you see my score, it's completely irrelevant.
I haven't
because
seen it.
I can't remember it. and
But
I
yeah,
back up
I
that score.
agree. It will be irrelevant now if so much time's passed.
Okay.
But you can go,
Anyway.
if you want to check that episode out, it's at www.patreon.com/filmbusters, and we'll see you over there, people, or we'll see you next time.
Goodbyes.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Laters.
And don't forget, Herbert West lives. He's out there. So when you're going to the next time you go to hospital, or next time you're checking into A&E, when you walk past the doctor's door, just give a little rap tappy. And when he answers the door, you wiggle your nose at him, and he'll give you the reagent that you need.
Nanoplasm.
Herbert West.
Filmbuster.